today will be all about bringing massive change to your life by changing your perspective. So, yeah, let's get into it. Just to tell you in short, what is perspective? So, perspective would be your point of view, it would be how things appear to you and how you see things. Um, it would be everything around you, it would be your opinion on certain topics, because all of that is influenced by things around you. So I was walking the dog today in the rain, so hence why my hair is a bit of a mess. But walked the dog in the rain, and I thought to myself, this is exactly an example of how my perspective have changed. So when I lived in South Africa, dogs are a big deal. Everyone has a dog, but again, that's my perspective. But you don't necessarily walk your dog in the rain. Like they can wait till tomorrow or 2 days later. But since we've moved from Dubai to Netherlands and we got a dog, a golden retriever named Zoe, um, we literally take her for a walk every single day, maybe twice a day, maybe sometimes even 3 times a day. And as I was walking her in the rain, I thought to myself that this is how my perspective has changed over the time. You don't wait it out. You look out the window and you see everyone walking their dogs with their umbrella or their raincoat. You see the old man from around the corner. He literally walks 3 times a day with his rain poncho on, and he just goes for it. There's no excuses, there's nothing that will stop him from going for his walks. If you were in Dubai, it would probably have been too hot. So, perspective there is you don't do it. If it rains, it is absolutely chaotic in Dubai. Schools close, malls flood. They're definitely not used to rain. But in places like the Netherlands, where it rains literally every second or third day, you have to get used to the rain. You can't wait it out. So as we've moved to the Netherlands, I've seen my perspective changing. I've seen how my mother has, and my father, and my family and friends have impacted my life when I was in South Africa. And I've seen how my different friends have impacted my life in Dubai. And then since moving to the Netherlands, I've again seen how my perspective have changed. So yesterday I had a quick Facebook Live, and I realized to myself that I've always said this, but I believe that everyone should move either to a different province or state or to a different country at least once in their life. I think it has such a massive impact on your perspective and how you view the world and how you view other cultures and people and how you treat other people and yourself. And it changes your perspective. Your perspective and your point of view changes over time as you are exposed to more external factors. The way you see an object literally changes. So there was a study, can't remember the details, that I read quite a while ago, and they said that the brain is such a magnificent thing that sometimes the object that you see, your brain will change the way you see it so that it is the way it should be, if that makes sense. So let me give you an example. For instance, the moon may not necessarily be round. I'm not saying it's square, but not 100% round, but all the pictures everyone has told us and all the pictures that we've seen is the moon is round. And sometimes your brain will tell your eyes what it is seeing, and you will perceive the moon as being round. Crazy, I know. But think about all those tests and things that you see on Facebook. There's this one where it is all the letters and it looks like a kind of a word puzzle type of thing. And then it tells you the first 3 words you see is your life or is your reality? And how many times have you done that and it seems so accurate? And that is perception. It is what your heart and what your brain is filled with at that moment that your eye catches and what your brain literally sees. Yesterday, I used this an example as well. So there's this image that you have the bus that's driving on the mountain, and the images is of the inside of the bus, and on the left hand side you see the guy looking out the window, and it's all the rocks and it's all the mountainside, and it's gloom and doom, and all you can see is rocks because that's all you're faced with. And 3 seats down, there's another guy sitting at the window looking out, and he's seeing the sun and the mountain, the valley, and it's beautiful, and you can see the water. And that is exactly what perception is. It is what you see is your reality. And if you keep staring at that bland rock formation, mountain, and you can't open up your eyes to the rest of the world, then that is what you will see. The world will be filled with doom and gloom, instead of filling your life with happiness and positivity and changing your perspective. So your perspective is influenced by so many things. It is influenced by past experiences. It is influenced by your parents and what they've told you. It is influenced by your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. It is influenced by the education that you had, school. It is influenced by tertiary education. It is influenced by your values and your culture and the culture that you surround yourselves. It is this circumstances that you most likely grow up in. And if you look at all the circumstances in the world, there's always someone that manages to achieve more than their circumstances. And that is because they made a choice to change their perspective. They made a choice to change their viewpoint, their physical surroundings. There's a new movie that was out recently on Netflix, and it's about this boy who, this black boy who was cleaning shoes outside a bank. And instead of focusing on his school, his family, his poor surroundings, he walked to the bank every single day, and he would listen to all the men that had their financial education, and he would listen to how they talk to each other and how to invest. And he, as soon as they left, he would write everything down. And he made a conscious choice to surround himself with those type of circumstances, with conversations about something that he wanted in his life. So in the end, the perception that you construct becomes your reality. The perception that you have, your viewpoint, the people that you surround yourself, becomes your reality. It is not something that you necessarily have to work very hard at. It is something that a lot of the times happen kind of naturally. And how does this impact your life? Well, it impacts every single area of your life. It impacts what you want to be. It impacts who you are and what you will be in a year's time and in 2 years' time. It impacts how you view the world in terms of how negative or how positive it is. It impacts how what the possibilities is in your mind. There's so many people that say that the possibilities is only what exists in your mind, and that's because you create that for yourself. So you are the creator of your story. Yes, there's external factors, especially in a time like coronavirus and the whole world changing. There's external factors, but there's certain businesses that absolutely thrive in this environment because they choose to thrive. And then there's other people that sit back and are a pawn on a chessboard because they choose to be. They choose not to change their circumstances. They choose not to change what they surround themselves with. And if you surround yourself with constant negative thoughts and constant doom and gloom, then that is what your life will be filled with. You are the creator of your story. You are the creator of the story you tell yourself. And that's a really tough thing to change. I would really suggest, and I've done this exercise myself, so I'm not putting myself above this at all, but write down what you believe. Write down the things that you believe and look at how many of those things are set in stone. How many of those things really are you unable to change? And then if you find a few that you think you're unable to change, look at the world and find me one example of someone that has changed that in their past. Find one millionaire that was born in absolute poverty and changed their circumstances. You will always find examples of people that have made massive changes to their life by changing their words, by changing their story, by changing their perspective. Life does not simply just happen to you. It is very hard to get out of that train of thought. And I really know that I have been absolutely stuck in a really dark place. But you've got one of two choices. You either change your perspective and change your life, or you stay where you are and you be happy with that. Because complaining about where you are, if that is not where you want to be, will not change anything. Changing your thoughts, changing your perspective, that is what will bring massive change to your life. I wrote an article, a blog post, in, I think it was 2015, I'll post the link, about why the five reasons on why the friends you keep are responsible for your success. And yes, you are always responsible for your success because you are the one doing it. And yes, there might be external factors, but you are still the one doing the work. But the people you surround yourself also helps you to either aim higher or aim lower. So your friends, your family, they are, I'm sure they're amazing people. But if that is not where you want to be, then you need to make an active choice to include more of what you want in your life. I'm not saying exclude them. I'm saying include more. I'm saying include more role models, people that will inspire you. There's a very interesting quote by Jim Rohn that if you look at finances, your financial situation will be the average of the 5 people you spend your most time with. Think about that. Think about how that impacts your life and how the people you include in your life impact your future. The 5 people you spend most of your time with, you will be the average of their salaries. So, or their income. So it really is important, the people you include in your life. I absolutely full-heartedly believe this. When I lived in South Africa, we had aspirations of moving from Pretoria to Cape Town, which is just a different province. And while in South Africa, that felt absolutely impossible. It felt like such a pipe dream. But once we set a dream out for ourselves, we realized that it is achievable, and the world a lot of the times have a lot more planned for you than you've actually think is possible. By a lot of hard work and some luck on the side, my husband got, well, he applied, but he got a job in Dubai, and we moved over to Dubai. And that was a massive, massive, massive life change, because that changed our environment. It changed our work. It changed our culture, our values, our friends. It changed everything, because now we include all of those things into our life. And suddenly we have a different point of view. We have a point of view from all over the world. Suddenly it is possible to get a job in Europe. It is possible to move around. It is possible to change your whole life situation. So, on that note, how do you do this actively? How are you saying, well, Lindy, I'm stuck and I'm in a situation where I like my life, but I'm not loving it. And I want to bring some change into my life. And it can literally be as small as I want to change a career, or I want to start a career, or I want to start a business. Or it can be as small, as big as I want to move countries. I see you've done it twice. I want to move countries. It all starts with the same basic principles. It starts with changing your routine. Changing small things like the way you drive to work. And I actively do this. When we moved to the Netherlands, there's one road into our house that I don't love. It's very suburby. There's a lot of houses, it's small roads. But there's another road which is about a kilometer longer, but it's beautiful. You drive through the forest, you drive through the trees, and you see the horses on the left, and you see people cycling, and you see the very nice houses all along the road. And changing that routine means that you see different things. And that is what your life will then be filled with. It won't be filled with narrow streets and gloom. It'll be filled with nice houses and big open spaces. So that's number one. Number two, own your power. Own what you can change. Focus on what you can change in your life. Don't focus on coronavirus. Focus on how you can react to that. Focus what you can do in your life, but you have to take that ownership and stop saying that everything has happened to you. Stop believing that things are happening for you, not only to you. Number three, see things as you want them to be. So, like the two guys in the bus, you have an option to choose your seat, believe it or not. But you can choose to see things from the perspective of the guy looking out the window, looking into the valley and the water and the beautiful scenery, or you have a choice to see them as doom and gloom, as rocks, and there's nothing else that you can focus on your life. So, although your life may not be filled with all the wonderful things that you want it to be right now, choose to focus on what you want to see. So if you want more money in your life, choose to focus on the money that you are receiving, not focusing on the money that you do not have. Stop focusing all the lack and all that you're shorting in your life, and focus on the things that are already there, and focus on them as you want them to be. So this is a lot easier said than done. I know. But start off with small things. Start off with seeing your fridge full of food, and that is what your life will be filled with. See your life with your two beautiful kids and the smile that they have every single morning when they wake up. Instead of thinking of the lack, think of what you want in your life and let your life be filled with that every single day. Number 4 would be add people to your life that brings joy to your life. And I've done this on Facebook a few times, where I would see people post things, and every time I see it, it just nicks me. It just irritates me. And I can immediately feel my energy changing from being happy to being depressed. And I have went onto Facebook, social media, and unfollowed those people. I haven't necessarily unfriended them, but I've unfollowed them, not because I think they're bad people, not because I do not like them or like them in my life. I just do not want that energy surrounding me every single day. Something silly like American politics, that just gets me hot under the collar. I just want to start debating when I read all of that stuff. And I can read how they are reacting to coronavirus and the president and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not going to get into that right now. But I found that every time I go into Facebook and I watch a video, that American politics starts popping up. And it's probably because I watch 1 or 2 minutes of the videos. And then Facebook, obviously, the algorithm decides I need more of that. But I have now gone onto my preferences and said, I do not want to see this. Or I watch 1 minute of it and then I go into the settings and say, do not show this to me again, because I'm actively deciding what I want to see in my life and what I want to remove from my life, because that changes my state, that changes my perspective, and that changes my environment. And my thoughts are really important to me because that impacts my whole life. And I will be very, um, I will be very, how can I put this? Selective. I will be extremely selective with who I offer my time and my thoughts to, because that is something that literally changes my whole life. And I will not give that to people that impact it negatively. And then number 5, which definitely not last, but definitely not least, is identifying your beliefs. Identify what you believe, write down. I've done this exercise a few times. Write down what you believe. Um, a money belief, for instance, that I'm really working hard on is like, money doesn't grow on trees. That has a very big negative connotation to tell yourself money isn't just everywhere. Well, actually, money is everywhere. And if you think it's going to be hard work to make money every single day, then guess what? It's going to be hard work to make money every single day. If you think it's really hard to find a good friend in your life, then guess what? It's going to be really tough to find a good friend in your life. So write down your beliefs and write down what you don't want in your life. So 5 beliefs, for instance, and say, you know what? These beliefs aren't really benefiting my life. I can change my story. And you write down your new set of beliefs. There is abundance all around you. And a lot of people from my own life will believe that it's hard to move overseas. It's not tough to move overseas. Once you've changed your mind and you've changed your state, it actually is pretty easy. The process for us was a bit difficult in terms of admin wise, but getting to that point of do we want to move overseas to we moving was really simple. It actually wasn't that hard. We've done it twice, and I've surrounded myself with a lot of expats, and in general, it really isn't hard. But if you believe that it's impossible for anyone over 50 to move overseas, then guess what? It's going to be hard for you to move. If you believe that it's hard to change works or to get a work that you love, then it's going to be hard. But if you focus on all the abundance out there and you focus on how easy it really can be, then that is what your life will be filled with. Write down what you believe. Write down how to fill your life with more of the things you want, and do more of those things. Align yourself with more of that. If I want to live in a nice neighborhood, then drive to that neighborhood every day, once a week, once a month. Look at the houses, look at the area, and fill your life with that good feelings, because that is what you will surround yourself with. This is a case of fake it till you make it, because you will fill your mind with all the happy thoughts. And don't drive around in the areas thinking, oh, look at all these big houses. They must have stolen the money from somewhere, because no one can be that rich without hard work. Because that's not a good thought to have. because you're not going to tell me that all of the rich people in the world have stolen the money somehow. That's not how it works. That is your perspective, and that is what you're telling yourself to validate why you don't necessarily have it or why you aren't in a better situation. But you are the creator of your life. You aren't just a pawn piece on a chessboard and just being moved around, but you have the choice to choose your thoughts. Moving really made a massive difference to me. And if you look at the different perspectives in the world, if you look at the way people in Africa think, and if you look at the way people in Middle East think, and if you look at the way people in Europe think, that's very different. But each time in one of those areas, in one of those continents, I made an active choice on what I want to let into my life. Will I let in the negative or will I let in the positive? And that has propelled me forward to add more positive things into my life. Is this a bulletproof recipe? Hell no. I'm struggling with this every single day. I have to make an active choice every single day to take the nice route, not the shortest route. I have to make an active choice to listen to things and create a bubble around me and only let the things into my life that adds value and that will propel me forward. There's a lady that not lives, but she's got kind of, they call it gemeentetuine, which is like community gardens just around the corner. And every single time I see her, she complains. And we all know those people in our life, but she complains about everything, everything. She complains about government. She complains about her horse and her chickens, and she complains about her kids, and she complains about the weather every single day. And I have now made an active choice that when I see her car outside, I will not walk past there, because if I ask her, how are you doing today? And no matter how upbeat I sound, she keeps going back, not too good, every single time. And if I surround myself with that, I will start thinking that. But every time she complains about her government, I have a different perspective. And I'm putting that into my perspective of living in a country where I've got an African government, or living in a Middle Eastern country where you have no say, where there's no votership. And although you've got a very nice country, you don't have a say in how it's run. But that's three very different perspectives, from Africa to Middle East to Europe. And perspective has given me the tools to say that, you know what, that's her perspective. And I don't have to agree with it, to be friendly and say, hi, how are you? Oh, I'm really sorry, it's not going well. Well, good luck with that. And then move on and not let that affect my life. So that is my perspective. Let me know on your thoughts. And that is the episode for today.